Give me a break. This is politics. This is a liberal group, and they're trying to skew the next election. That's how I feel. What about the experts? Doug Weed, presidential historian, former advisor to George H.W. Bush, and Craig Shirley, presidential historian, Reagan biographer, some great books. Gentlemen, what do we think here? I am outraged. Doug, first to you.
Yeah, they not only want to shut him up, they want to put him in jail. This is very close to Putin killing, murdering his political opponents. We do it our way through the media and big tech and through the courts, through prosecutors. This is really scary. They hate him. They hate what he did for African Americans in this country that they promised but never were able to do themselves. They hate him for energy independence, for reforming NATO, for rebuilding the economy. Mostly they hate him because he got the vaccine in record time, a Manhattan-style project. So they've got to stop him from running again. He was the greatest one-term president we've seen in ages. So that's my take.
Trump fired back. President Trump fired back in a big way. Let's put that statement as we go to you, Craig. Facebook's ruling is an insult to the record-setting 75 million people, plus many others who voted for us in the 2020 rigged presidential election. They shouldn't be allowed to get away with this censoring and silencing. And ultimately, we will win. Our country can't take this abuse anymore. I totally agree. A private company should not have this kind of authority, and I hope there's a way legally somehow to correct this. Craig.
You're right, Greg. There is a way legally. It's called the Sherman Antitrust Act, and it's been on the books for over 100 years in our system of government. The government has stepped in before when a corporation got too big and too oppressive and shut them down, whether it was aluminum companies after World War II or the big three or oil companies, what have you. But Facebook clearly is too big for its britches. It needs to be broken up under the Sherman Antitrust Act. Because it's clearly a violation of the bigness that is evident in America today.
Yeah, Facebook is so big right now. Look, imagine if Thomas Edison, he invented the light bulb. Imagine if he had it so that he would only give electricity, only give a light bulb to people he agreed with politically. That, I think, is actually a pretty apt analogy, and I don't like this situation at all.
No, you shouldn't like the situation at all. Imagine, if you will, somebody invents something and then they hold the patent on it and they regulate its usage to allow some people to own it and some people not to own it, whether it's electricity or the use of water or use of cars or highways or what have you. Right. Is that there is common sense must prevail here. And common sense tells us that Facebook is too big and too oppressive. This is a political decision, nothing else. They have plenty of customers on their site who have engaged in political discussion before, who haven't been banned. So the statement is outrageous. It's just
outrageous, and the idea that he incited anything on January 6th is also, in my opinion, outrageous. Hey, we got to talk about tomorrow, I believe, is the anniversary of D-Day, and that's pretty amazing. And by the way, the subject of you worked for George H.W. Bush, of course, a very famous veteran of World War II. Tomorrow, I'm not expecting any big commemoration. I know there was one on the 50th, maybe one, but Doug, what are you expecting?
Well, maybe Kamala Harris will say, have a good weekend. I don't know.
Happy Friday, everybody. Happy Saturday.
What troubles me is that the young people don't know about this history. The young people in South Korea don't know about the Korean War and the Americans who lost their lives trying to bring them freedom. And my wife's French. When they had the 75th anniversary of D-Day, there were all these movies on television about it in France, and the young people of France were stunned. What's this? They didn't know that Americans and English had died and bled on the beaches of France to bring them liberty. So it's a shame that we've lost the history.
Well, they can at least watch Saving Private Ryan if they don't want to read any books about it, which is an amazing well, the first 20 minutes are pretty amazing. Then it gets a little cheesy in my book and somewhat unrealistic. But all right, gentlemen. Hey, I do think I got two things here. Donald Trump, going back to the Facebook issue for a moment, He's very funny. He uses humor like nobody else. And there's Zuckerberg in the Oval Office with Donald Trump. And Donald Trump put this out today about that meeting and what might happen in the second Trump presidency. Next time I'm in the White House, there will be no more dinners at his request with Mark Zuckerberg and his wife. It will be all business. I love that. Greg, I do think he's coming back. I think he wants to.
I think he wants to too. Look, at the present time, the Republican Party is Donald Trump's, like it or not. And if he runs, he will most likely be the nominee.
Yeah.
And you've got to give him at least a 50-50 chance of defeating Joe Biden in the next presidential election.
All right, Craig, Doug, I have to leave it there. But as we go to break, that picture reminded me of something. Can I see it one more time? There's Donald Trump with Mark Zuckerberg in the Oval Office. Look at the way Mark's looking at him. I don't know if I like this man. He talks a little bit like that. And then next, when he saw Obama, look at them. They're going off for a bros weekend somewhere. Hey. Anyway, you can tell. There it is. That's all you need to know. It's all there. The bias. Thank you, gentlemen, and we'll be right back.
For some reason, this interview you just saw was heavily censored. The only way we know to get around that is if you subscribe to this channel, YouTube channel, and hit the bell. And or if you send this link to a friend in an email, that can get through. Or subscribe to Rumble. They don't seem to censor these. But this one is especially experiencing some rough censorship. Thank you. We're gonna live through this. Bye-bye. Bye.